Out on the Thames marshes, below the town of Erith, well down the river where the big ships go about their business, lies the Erith Yacht Club. This club has a long tradition of hard living and hard work, and if your sailing consists of just going aboard your boat and hoisting sail, you must be rich, or lucky, or lazy. In winter, the cruising boats lie in good mud berths. When fitting out begins, there are bottoms to be painted, while the tides ebb and flow. The dinghy owners have an easier life, as their boats are stored in a shed where painting, scraping and repair work can be carried out free from interruption. Members gather once a month during the winter to work for the club, either ashore or on board the club ship, a former Trinity lightship, built in 1869. Besides scraping and chipping, there are such jobs as going aloft to replace the old rigging. The rigging is given a coat of tar, melted well into the strands with a blow lamp. Soft spots in the deck are cut out and replaced by new timber. To make the deck tight, the seams are caulked and pitched. This is a small ship, until you start painting the hull. This is done every few years to cover up any bare patches and to add one more coat to the many that have gone on during her long life. The decks are painted and also the bulwarks, inside and out. Fresh water is normally brought to the club by water barge, but recently an attempt was made to get at the fresh water in the chalk, which lies 15 or 20 feet below the surface of the marsh. Unfortunately, the first sinking failed to produce good water, and so about 50 feet of piping had to be extracted with jacks. A different spot was chosen for a second attempt and new techniques used. Judging by the results, it looks as though beer will continue to be the staple drink of the members for some time to come. One of the club's achievements has been the construction of a causeway down to low water. The timber was floated down the river from the royal docks. Some of the methods used were unorthodox, but in one way or another, the balks of timber were cut to length and by brute force hove into position. Under Jimmy Green's direction, and with much toil, blood and sweat, the work goes on, across the mud, and in the mud and through the mud, until the tide that waits for no man drives the workers out. Spring and the start of a new sailing season. At the end of each day's sailing, the dinghies are floated onto the trolley and winched up the causeway to be put to bed on the pontoons. One of the high spots of the sailing season is the rally of Lower Thames clubs at Holehaven. The dinghies are loaded aboard the club barge, Lady Mary, and she is hauled out over her anchor. She is taken in tow by the motor barge Raybell, Captain George Blake. On the way, a stop is made at Greenhive, where the training ship Worcester lies. 4 of the cadets' boats are to sail with the stars in the rally and are to be towed down the river by the Raybell. The distance to Holehaven is 18 miles, and on the way, big ships pass, bound out to sea. On arrival at Holehaven, the boats are hoisted overboard, and for the next 2 days their crews will enjoy or endure, according to the weather, keen racing on the broad waters of Sea Reach. After the day's racing, there is the evening meal to cook and the day's adventures to be told. Then there are liberty boats to take ashore those who want a merry evening with the Benfleet Yacht Club.
annual event in the life of the club has been the trip of 4 stars to Holland for 2 weeks sailing on the lakes of Friesland. The boats are towed upriver to the lower pool. There's a brew up halfway, of course. Is one of the many that hug the Thames near Tower Bridge. It is here that the boats stay overnight after being safely moored by a friendly water rat. Close by, at Butler's Wharf, lies the motor vessel Swift of the General Steam Navigation Company. She has already loaded her cargo, and when the hatches are on, the stars can be hoisted aboard by one of the dockside cranes. The Swift, with boats and crews aboard, sails on the evening tide for Amsterdam. Overlooking the river at Erith stands the Running Horses Hotel. Here, when the sailing season is over, the men of the club gather to meet their friends from other clubs at the annual dinner and prize giving. With the dinner, speeches and formalities over, the rest of the evening is spent in beer and song, and visions of happy sailing days to come.
We were laying in the Surrey dock one day. The mate knew that it was time to get underway. Stormy weather, boys, when the wind blows our barge will go. He's homeward bound, but came aboard with a girl on his arm. He's going to give a barge in and take a farm. Stormy weather, boys, when the wind blows our barge will go. Then the mate ran forward and the cook fell in the dock, and the skipper got his fingers in the main sheet block. Stormy weather, boys.